breaking the wall to climate adaptation with STEM ecosystems. Nkosana Masuku, Sciency Africa, Zimbabwe.
I remember standing in front of a classroom, filled with faces eager and curious to learn. But all around, there was nothing. No technology, no tools, no resources to bring the science I was teaching to life. But what stood out the most to me wasn't the lack of the resources. It was the lack of opportunity. Because these students were so filled with passion and curiosity to want to make a difference in their communities. And yet, the absence of STEM education was limiting them to be able to be stewards of change in their communities. You see, climate change isn't just a term in these communities. It's a daily lived experience of withered crops, dried up rivers. Yet, according to UNICEF, less than 5% of students in Sub-Saharan Africa are exposed to any form of climate education, mostly private schools. And if we are to have these students thrive, adapt, and survive, STEM education needs to be a toolkit for their survival. This is why we created the STEM Sustainability and Climate Control Initiative. I think this, okay. This is why we created the STEM Sustainability and Climate Adaptation Initiative, blending on hands-on STEM education and quality climate change education. With our kids, we're enabling students to learn about renewable energy, the science behind climate adaptation, and also coding and engineering. Imagine a student not only assembling a solar model unit in the classroom, but understanding that these solar panels can be the solution to their local community power shortages. Through our interactive curricula of renewable energy, recycling, conservation, and even carbon footprints, we're enabling these students to be the stewards of change in their community. And what this enables is that these students can inspire change in their communities without necessarily building the solutions. We're proud to have celebrated 5 years of impact, having already impacted 36,000 students in just the previous year alone across 124 schools. And through the work which we have been doing with the Ministry of Education in Zimbabwe, we've realized that 76% of students, through an impact study available for you to actually go through, have improved in STEM through these programs that we're running. And our target goal is to be able to reach 1 million learners within the next 10 years. We're really excited about our work, and what we've realized that has made us really excited with the mission is that localization is key. Being able to adapt to different communities is what makes a difference. And also, the community buy-in is critical, meaning working with the teachers, working with the stakeholders, and having them understand the work that you're trying to do. And lastly, using students as catalysts of change and having them as the ambassadors who champion our mission forward. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a question ready.
So thank you. You mentioned solar panels as one of the projects. What are some of the different projects? Because you talked about customization.
Yeah.
So what are some of the different areas, the different problems and the different projects that you're coming at?
So from the kit alone, students are actually able to build a windmill, a solar tracking unit, which actually follows the sun. That's where they get to integrate coding and engineering. Then they're also to build a small hydroelectric power plant, where if they run tap water through it, it actually powers a light. So it's within these renewable energy cycles that we're trying to focus on, and then also adding how the climate adaptation is influenced from this.
Just one more question. How do you work with teachers? How do you integrate into?
Yes. So thank you for that question, because teachers are our biggest influence for scale. So we actually train the teachers. We do workshops where we train the teachers. Then we give the kits to the teachers where they understand how they are supposed to use them within the classroom. And then the teachers, actually run the program. And we're just getting there, tracking the data. And it allows us to be able to work with so many schools all at just one time.
So, yeah, okay. And then Olaf, yeah.
You said that localization is key. How do you select the communities, or do teachers or schools apply for those kits and for your help?
Thank you very much for that one. So the way in which we've been able to do this is we've been able to work with the Ministry of Education, where we actually mapped so many schools which had the lowest performances in STEM pass rates. Because what this program actually also entails is the learning fundamentals of STEM and science subjects. So we've been mapping different schools with the lowest pass rates across the 10 regions in Zimbabwe, and those are the schools which we started it with our pilot program for the specific kit. So that's how we were able to then map out the schools.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
I'm a numbers person, and you presented some KPIs. Yeah? When I remember correctly, you are focusing on a 5 years experience now?
Yes.
And you want to achieve 1 million students by in 10 years?
20, yeah.
So where do you come from, and is it achievable when you want to go to?
It's very much achievable, because our total impact right now, we've actually worked with almost 140,000 students across the 5 years in STEM education. So what we've realized is that, especially with the kids, it's easier to distribute anywhere across the different regions, and that's what allows us to be able to scale the program. So once we are able to get different partners, we scale forward.
Well done.
Thank you.